Wings for the Gary Goff Show, your weekly look at Tiffin University football. Coming to you live from Buffalo Wild Wings, as we said, every Thursday night. The Dragons back in action this Saturday at 1 o'clock start when they welcome in the Ashland Eagles. But first, let's talk about last week. Let's get ready for this week as we chat with Coach Gary Goff. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad as well. Big win for your Dragons last week. We'll talk about the Northern Michigan game, but I think first thing we need to say is how thankful we are that those two young men who got taken off the field in an ambulance were able to travel home with their team and able to get back to the field. That was pretty darn scary.
Yeah, it was a real serious injury right there at the start of the game. He had an ankle injury, it's pretty bad, but I heard they both got back and were on the sidelines prior to them to depart. So, our medics there did a great job of getting them to the hospital and getting them checked out. And, hopefully, I think their quarterback is back this week, from what I've been told.
Okay.
But the corner, obviously, that was a season-ending injury. And you hate to see that, no matter who it is, because that young man put a lot of time, energy, and effort into his season. And, just a really horrible injury right there.
It felt like Northern Michigan kind of maybe, rallied around what was going on there early because, I was kind of impressed with Northern Michigan. I thought they played a hard football. They played hard for 60 minutes, and they gave everything. Heck, they got a lead on you early, and you got battled back, took the lead, held on the lead for the victory. But I was very impressed with Northern Michigan. I thought they played real hard football.
Their running back's one of the better players in the conference.
Jake Mayon
he is very
fantastic.
difficult to tackle. He's got a low center of gravity. He's a strong kid. He's rushed for over 200 yards in several games this year.
Yeah.
So we knew that going in. But, they got a new coaching staff. They're trying to change their philosophy, their personnel and all that. So they're playing a lot of young guys. And we saw on film that they played extremely hard, So I wouldn't be shocked to look up and they've snuck out a win or two here in the last 4 weeks.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Excuse me as well. Let's take a look back, though, here at the game, Coach. Northern Michigan started out first. They cracked the scoreboard just a couple minutes into the game, about 2.5 minutes to be exact. Ryan Knight, a 19-yard pass from Ryan Johnson. Ryan Johnson, the young man we were talking about who was injured later on in the ball game. And Northern Michigan takes a 7-0 lead, but doesn't take your Dragons long to respond. You come back down, a young man who's going to be on the program with us tonight catches an 11-yard touchdown pass from Nick Watson, and you guys tie it up at the 6:19-minute mark of the first quarter after 11-play, 78-yard drive, taking 6:03 off the clock.
No, it was a great drive right there to answer their score. They got out the gates fast right there, and they hit it. They're tied in the flats, and then they sprung another run right there and got down and got on the board. But proud of how we responded as well. And they played a lot of man coverage down there. We knew their corners were some young guys, and when we got down there towards the red zone, we had a chance right there in a formation, and Nick threw a great ball in the corner of the end zone.
Oh, yeah.
Tony made a great catch, and we couldn't really see it from our sideline. When you watch film, he basically got 2 feet in right there. So, a great play right there, and they worked on that throw in the end zone all week long. So
you're absolutely right. Tremendous catch by Tony Shedd, but he can't make the catch if Nick Watson doesn't put the ball right where he had to put it. That was a beautiful throw, like you said.
Well, I think if you go back from week 1 and all the way through the season, you'll see that Nick is not playing with a lot more confidence, but he's become a lot more accurate with every throw, and that's just because he's not a freshman anymore. He's going to be 8 games in this week.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's a part of this, getting to that part of the season where maybe things start slowing down a little bit for a young player. Things starting to click, and that allows you to relax and play a little football. And that's what it seems like Nick's been doing the last couple of weeks. Been working out well for the Dragons, as they said, 5-2, 4-1 in the Great Lakes Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. And after 1 quarter of play on Saturday, the game was all tied up at 7 apiece. And then Hunter Rockwell goes from 51 yards out, running right down your sideline from north to south there at Frost County Stadium. A 3-play, 59-yard scoring drive, taking a minute 28, and Hunter looked fast running down that sideline on that touchdown run.
And they brought pressure right there, and we were able to kind of outflank the defense right there, and Hunter did the rest. And Hunter's been a great surprise all season long. He's added another dimension to that backfield, so we got Hardy as the bruiser and likes to pound people, and Hunter likes to run away from people. So we got him on the perimeter right there, and Nick made a great pitch to him, read the defensive end the right way, and again, Tony had a terrific play right there, made a nice block, and really sprung Hunter for the run.
Does Hunter have one of those, what they say, the nose for the end zone? Because it seems like finds a way to get himself to the end zone when he gets his opportunities.
He has done a great job scoring.
Halftime, the Dragons take a 13-7 lead to the half, but it doesn't take the Dragons long to hit the scoreboard again early in the third quarter, excuse me. We already said his name once, Tony Shedd with an 11-yard touchdown pass, this time from 4 yards out. Nick Watson again, 2-point conversion was good as well. A 9-play, 75-yard drive, taking 3:59 off the clock. And you always talk about, Coach, how important it is that those start of the second half, end of the first half. That's a great way to start the second half for your kids.
No, absolutely. We knew we were getting the ball right there, so we put together a drive right there at halftime. Thought defense was playing really well, until halftime right there. And really, that first half, we didn't have a whole lot of adjustments on the defensive side of the ball because they sprung a couple plays here and there, but that was it. So it was nice for us to come out, have a nice long scoring drive to get on the board. And, again, a little play action right there on the goal line. Again, Nick made a great throw right there. Tony came down with the football. And as the day goes, we had an official get injured on that play.
That's right. Oh, my gosh, you're right. I forgot about that.
So we already had a young man carted off, by the ambulance. Then we had an official that had to go get checked out by the team doctor, and he didn't come back in. So the game changed a little bit right there with a 6-man crew.
Right. I totally forgot about the official getting hurt. I hope he's okay, too.
It was an injury-filled day. It was crazy.
It was a strange day. It was a very strange day. So the Dragons stretch their lead out for a couple touchdowns now at 21-7. But as we said, Northern Michigan, they came to play, and they answered. Jake Mayon, the running back we had talked about, leading the conference in rushing, had a huge day for his team. Like Coach said, he has a huge day every week, it seems. A 6-yard touchdown run, an 8-play, 73-yard drive, and now all of a sudden it's 21-14. They're thinking about getting back in this thing, and it doesn't take them long to get back in it here later on in that quarter.
Well, we knocked out their quarterback. Vinny Jones had a nice play on the quarterback right there. Really, he hit the quarterback with Codge an interception. Conti, made a pick right there to end the first half, and it kind of changed things for them. They went away from the passing and really started pounding the football with Mayon. And then the quarterback that came in is an athlete who runs around quite a bit. So they changed their play call a little bit, so we had to adjust right there in the third quarter defensively. But, I don't know. They decided they're going to give their running back the load of the work right there, as to where if the starter had not been knocked out, I don't think they would have done that.
You're probably right. He's the kind of young man that started licking his chops and they started talking about feeding him the football.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm 100% certain of that because he scored again at the end of the third quarter. A 23-yard run, Jake Mayon goes in. And after this drive, Coach, it's 21-all as you're heading to the fourth quarter, and you had to feel pretty good. You started to stretch it out. Now here comes Northern Michigan, and they're letting you know right there at the end of 3 quarters, we're here for a full, long fight.
Absolutely. I mean, you got to take your hat off to them for, showing up to battle. I thought they played extremely hard, but right there when they tied it up 21-21, the good thing is there was no panic on our sideline. We talked about all week that we were going to be into a fight, and whether we wanted to hear that or not, I don't know, is another story. But, 21-21, we still had a lot of confidence. We knew just go out there and continue to play hard, and the ball would bounce our way. So, we responded right there with yet another score. Yeah,
the Dragons take the lead early in the fourth quarter, a lead that they will not relinquish as Nick Watson runs in from 16 yards out. The kick was good. 7-play, 68-yard drive covering 2:21, and now the Dragons have that lead that they're going to take on to the finish line.
Right. And when you look at it, it's not that we didn't play bad ball by no means, and we still scored 35 points.
Right.
I told the team after the game, it's a sign of a good program is finding a way to win when you might not have played your best football.
Yeah.
And there was still a lot of great plays made on both sides. There was some corrections, obviously, that we worked hard on this week to, get to and correct. But what I was most proud about is that, we found a way to grind out a win right there. And, look, we talk all the time in the GLIAC. Anybody can beat anybody on any given Saturday right there. And this was no different, And, again, Northern Michigan, they're a young team. They're going to be a good team down the road. They got the makings of some really good players. So, hats off to them, but I'm excited that we came over with a win. And you can never complain about a W.
A W is a W. No matter, you can look back in 20 years, it doesn't matter what it says, as long as it says W beside it, that's all it really matters. And Northern Michigan does come back down and get a field goal, but you got to be proud of your defense keeping out of the end zone after they drove 94 yards, taking 2.5 minutes off the clock, almost 3 minutes actually, but defense, the old bend don't break attitude there, and kept them out of the end zone, forced a field goal, and that was able to keep the lead. And then when you get the ball back, you go down and score. Now you've stretched out to 11 points late in the fourth quarter. Now it's starting to get in hand.
Right, exactly. That was kind of the second half right there. Defense bent a little bit but didn't break, and we're able to keep them out of the end zone right there. And then Jaquan Hardy makes a nice run there, to kind of put the game away right there. But overall, there was some really good things, and I think anytime you score 35 points in a game, that's a strong showing by the offense. And then defensively, anytime you can win the turnover battle right there and come up with some key stops, that's obviously a defensive game as well. So, I thought we did control the ball for the most part there in that first half. We had more plays than they did. At the very end, they were trying to get back into it. They knew they had to go to their passing game right there.
Yeah.
They hit a couple of big passing plays at the end, but then you saw, Juan Nelson stepped up and made a big interception right there, really to end the game. And then offensively, went to the 4-minute mode right there and grounded out a first down, and the game was over.
As Coach said, Jaquan Hardy put that nail in the coffin touchdown run there late in the fourth quarter. Your quarterback has good completion percentage, goes 22 of 31, no turnovers, which is great. Couple touchdowns for 196 yards. Also led you on the ground with 78 yards on 12 carries, but Jaquan Hardy did the workload. Didn't have a lot of yards going on with his 25 carries, but his 25 carries were huge, which helped you enable what you wanted to do that got you in the end zone.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Nick had a good day, and we knew he was going to throw the ball quite a bit simply because they wanted to load the box and stop the run. It's probably going to be like that from here on out. So we're going to continue to have a good balance of our run-pass right there. But, couldn't be more pleased with the way the O-line's played and the running backs have played all season, because if we can get that ground game going, it makes the passing game so much easier.
Absolutely. We said Tony Shedd, he had 2 touchdowns, 5 catches, 44 yards, but a young man led you with receptions. Victor Talley. About the yards, had 4 catches for 52 yards, and he was doing some really nice things for you out there Saturday.
Yeah, Talley is going to be an unreal player. He really is. We forget sometimes that he's a freshman. He's every bit of 6'4".
Oh, yeah, he's got the frame.
He's probably only about 195 pounds right now, but, he's going to be well over 210, 215. He's a long, athletic young man that's just really figuring out how to play the position. So I think we're going to look back years from now and talk about, oh my gosh, we've got another extremely dynamic receiver, and so nobody anticipates for a freshman to play as much as he's playing, but he's gotten better every single week. It's hard to keep him off the field right now.
That's what you're supposed to do, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Supposed to get better every week. Brandon Burks leads you in tackles, with 11 on the defensive side. But I thought all in all, your defense played very well, including the 2 turnovers, which both turnovers seem to come in real key times for your defense.
Oh, absolutely. And they're drive killers right there, and that's part of winning football games, is winning the turnover battle. But you talked about Brandon Burks, and we've already talked about Nick Watson. But again, 2 freshmen early in the year that we knew had the potential to be some really good players, but they just needed that experience. So now you're seeing those 2 play with more and more experience, and Burks is continuing to have a very, very strong freshman year.
Well, before we bring Tony up here, let's talk about this week's opponent, Ashland, coming into town. His second year in a row, they're coming to Tiffin. Second year in a row, coming very highly rated in the nation. Last year, the Dragons got a huge victory over Ashland, and you mentioned their quarterback, Travis Tarnowski, yet to throw an interception this year. With as many attempts as he's had, that's a very impressive statistic.
Yeah, without a doubt. We have looked at that a little bit, and I don't know if you remember, but Housewright about 4 years ago came into our game.
Oh, yes. That was like the last game of the season or something
trying to break the exact same record, and I forget who got the pick.
Didn't work out well.
We ended up getting the pick to break that. Coach Horn, who played at Ashland, when he was a player, they were going for the very same record, and he said they threw a tailback screen, and the running back then bobbled it, and Tiffin intercepted it to end it back then when he was a player.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe history's on our side a little bit right there. But
well, I forgot about that.
Ashland is a very, very good team. They're a very good program. They've been a good program for a very long time. They got a great reputation in the area. I think Coach Owens does a great job on both sides of the ball. So, we know what we're getting into. We knew what we were getting into last year.
Right.
And again, I think it's very important that we worry about us, not necessarily our opponent. And I don't mean that in a negative way, to our opponent or in any way. But, if we continue to play every play, to our best ability and give maximum effort and hustle and do all those things that come with the game and not worry about the play before, you never know what's going to happen.
They say you create your own luck with hard work, right?
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. As we said, this game on this Saturday, a 1 o'clock start as the Dragons. You can find the game on Coast Country 100.9 on your FM dial, as well as at WTUD, TUDragonRadio.com, and a free live video there as well. Hitting the stretch run for certain right now. 4 games left. How you feeling about your squad right now from where you were, at the start of the year? And there's a growth curve. There's people get beat up. This and that. How you feeling about your team?
Yeah, injuries are part of the game. And just like they were last year. So we always preach, next man's got to be ready to play. But I'm still extremely proud of how the young men show up to work every day with an attitude. Let's work to get better. They're holding each other accountable more this year than they ever have in the past. So. I believe we got the winning culture here, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
We still got a lot of football left this season, but it's been a lot of fun. It's fun to show up work every day with a group of guys who continually want to strive to get better. And I think they're hungry right now. They understand that as long as we take care of business, week in, week out, that, the sky's the limit for this group. And, And we also accept that it's not going to be easy. You know,
right.
we wouldn't want it any other way, right? I mean,
right,
it's never going to be easy.
Right. Well, they say things are, I don't know exactly how the saying goes, but the things that are worth achieving if it doesn't take hard work to get there. Absolutely. Well, speaking of people who are hungry, because I know his wings are in front of him, but we're going to steal him real quick and bring him up here. Tony Shedd's going to come join us. So, Coach, our timing is always so bad with the food when it comes to these guys. It seems like we're always bringing them up right when their food gets to their table. But, yeah, Tony's a kid who I've had the pleasure of, talking to off the field as well here since his time at Tiffin University. And he's treated me with nothing but respect since I've been here, and it's been a pleasure watching him play football here as well. So, Tony, go ahead and grab that microphone. Welcome onto the show. How you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good.
Pleasure to have you here, bud. Thank you for joining us. A big game last week, a couple touchdowns. I had to feel real nice.
Yeah, it felt pretty good.
Talk a little bit about the game last week, and how your progression working with the young quarterback has gone so far this year.
He's young, but he has a lot of talent. So, it's all about preparation, though. From day one, starting Monday, throughout Friday, we just start preparation, basically. So,
how important, Coach, is it to have upperclassmen like this when you're breaking in a young quarterback, and not only a young quarterback, but the young receivers we spoke about as well?
Yeah, absolutely. When Charles got his injury, Tony really did a good job of stepping up, and I didn't even have to say anything to him. He already knew how I was thinking and what I needed him to do, and he's really been that leader in the offensive side of the ball and really helped those young receivers. But, it's very important for a young quarterback out there, and he's got a veteran player coming over telling him, hey, we got this, or you're doing fine, or let's pick it up. And, Nick's naturally a very, very positive guy too, but, having an older guy come in and kind of really help him during the heat of the battle really makes a big, big difference.
Talk about your group, your receiving group. You got a lot of talented guys in that group. Why don't you just talk a little bit about the work they put in, and we'll ask you about some of the silly stuff that goes on with the group.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of talent. This is the most talent I've ever, had.
I think your group is as talented a group as there is that we've seen as far as just your position. Definitely. And the kids playing it. I think you guys are just off the charts.
Definitely. We got a lot of young guys, but they're talented. They're learning, I just had to play that role, had to step up, and show them the way, because a lot of guys, they look up to me. So, I just had to play that role and just work hard and lead by example.
I know you have some talents off the football field. We'll talk about that as well a little bit. But let's talk about staying with your group here a little bit. Who's the sort of like a class clown in that wide receiving room?
Oh, man, I would say, I don't know, Tyler Denton.
Tyler Denton.
Charles Holland, pretty much all of us, we're all silly, you know what I'm saying? We like to play fly a lot. They see us every day, playing, fighting and stuff, so.
Was there something about keeping it relaxed a little bit, when you have a group of guys that you're working with every single day, and be able to have a camaraderie with them, and guys that you can actually call your friends, that you can, chill out with after practice, laugh and have fun with. Is it important, you think, for the overall cohesiveness of your unit to be able to get along everywhere?
Yeah, on the field and off the field.
That's what I mean,
We're pretty much with each other every day, literally 24 hours until we go to sleep, what I'm saying? We go home and then go to sleep and stuff like that, but.
It's really like brothers. Some days you're mad at them, you're fighting, get away from me, leave me alone. Then the next day they're best friends. And but it is. I think every position on the team is tight knit group.
That's great.
And it's like family. There's days you're going to argue and fight, but you still love them. You got their back no matter what. But yeah, him and Tyler Denton are out of control some days. That's okay.
How's the dynamic with your coach being a former wide receiver? Is he taking harder on you guys a little bit? So that's the position he used to play, or is he?
Just a little bit, yeah, you know what I mean. But
because he knows wide receivers are tough enough to take it, right?
Yeah, since day one he's been coaching me up, though, man. He's really pushed me. All of my receiver coaches, they've always pushed me, to be better at what I do and try to perfect my craft and stuff like that. So
let's talk about what led into day one. Let's talk about your path coming to Tiffin University. Where are you from?
South Bend, Indiana.
And what was it? How did you find out about Tiffin University? Talk about the recruiting process and how you ended up here.
Yeah, I actually sent them my film. This was back then. Coach Wilcox, he was actually the recruiting coach. And I sent them my film and stuff like that. And they contacted me, said they want to, give me a scholarship. And that's when they came out, visited me and stuff. We had a good relationship, so since then.
And since you've been here at Tiffin University, let's talk about some of your highs on the football field that you, when you think back of your time, that are going to point to and be like, yeah, that was one of my best days as a Dragon.
I'll probably say sophomore, junior year. Junior year is probably my breakout year. That's when I had the, most yards and receptions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I would probably say junior year.
Your junior year is probably your, but maybe your senior year. You don't know yet.
Yeah.
You still got a few games left here.
Yep.
We mentioned your talents off the football field as well, and I know we had at the Athletic Hall of Fame, there's a painting that you did of former Dragon great Nate Washington. the art something that's been with you for a long time? Is that something that you developed or found out about yourself as you got a little older? Tell us about that.
It's always been a passion since I was little. I picked up the pencil, picked up the paintbrush, and I started to do things I couldn't imagine I could do. Start doing self-portraits and stuff, and it actually looked like them. So I just pursued it, and then it became a profession.
You're going to have him start designing your helmets?
Yeah, actually, that'd be a good idea, actually. But no, he when we were recruiting him, I remember going over there doing the home visit and everything with him and his family, and his mom said, "You got to show Coach your portfolio," and he pulled it out, and the paintings, the drawings were unbelievable, and it was everything from Muhammad Ali to mountains to you name it. But he's always been extremely talented in that, and he's gotten a lot better over the years because when Nate Washington came and was a guest coach on campus for camp, Tony didn't tell us, but one night he went home and painted that was charcoal painting, right? Or acrylic painting. Yeah. Went home and painted it, brought it and gave it to Nate Washington before he left. And Nate Washington was in tears with it. And I said, Tony, how long did that take you? He goes, it took me about 3 hours or so last night. So he did it in one night, So,
something I couldn't do in my 46 years.
Oh, God.
So what is it that you're here at Tiffin University? What are you studying?
Art administrations, but I'm in grad school for higher education right now.
Oh, excellent. So what are you planning on doing when the football career is all said and done? What would you like to see Tony Shedd doing?
We'll see how long this lasts, but when my body go out, I'll probably go back home, get back to my community and stuff. I plan on starting a nonprofit organization.
Oh, wow.
Back at home, so.
Wow. That's pretty amazing in itself right there, too, Coach. I mean,
I can just sell his paintings on the side, and the rest
right.
is
Right. Well, it speaks to your character. That's one thing you want to do. I mean, you're going to get your master's degree, and the thing you want to do is go back to your community and start a nonprofit where you can help your community. I mean, that says a lot. Not a lot of people have that in them to go back and take care of the place that took care of them as they were growing up. Some people just, whatever. But I applaud that. That's awesome, man. That's fantastic.
I appreciate it.
That is fantastic. We're talking to Tony Shedd, senior wide receiver here for the Tiffin University Dragons. I think I just blew Matt's headphone up and he took it off as I said Tony Shedd. But Tony, you got 4 games left, man. Yep. 2 more at home, 2 more on the road. Have you set any goals for yourself for this season? I mean,
when I first came in the camp, I honestly just wanted to win. I don't care how we got it done. I don't care where they put me. I just wanted to give it my all. It's my last year, so.
Speaking of winning, think about from where you were when the program was when you got here
to
where you are
journey.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how proud are you to be a part of that?
Proud. It's an honor. It's definitely an honor, being a part of something great that's been growing for so long and then finally reach something,
Right. I mean, it's all happened here under Coach Goff's watch.
I've kind of blocked out most of that. I can't even remember those dark days, but
right.
We've come a long ways, that's for sure.
We have come a long way. Let's talk about your position, Coach, and you've had a couple of different wide receiver coaches in your time here at Tiffin University. Let's talk about who you're working with now and what he brings to the table.
He's a great coach. He's always pushing us, as far as like technique, steps, depth, everything. So he's a relaxed coach. He's not a rah guy. But I love him, though. I love him. I love the way he pushes me. He pushes me to my limit, try to get my full potential out.
So do you like blocking more than catching passes?
No, but I know I have to block. I get it done. I know I have to block. It's definitely.
At least he was honest.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to throw him a curveball there, but yeah. I mean, that's part of it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's definitely more than one of the important things you have to do.
Does it motivate you to want to block better when you look at the work that those running backs are putting in? Like a Jaquan Hardy being out there, he's been the bulldog for you guys here this whole year. He's been kind of like the table setter for you guys. And does that inspire you a little bit to go out there and work a little harder because I even remember a play, it was a pass play, and you were waving the receiver to come this way because I got a block for you. That was one of my favorite things I saw all year long.
Yep.
So it obviously does motivate you. Is that true?
Definitely. He's a great running back, and I know on my end, if I block, he's going to break it. That's one of the most important blocks, though, is on the outside. So
and once the running game starts producing, that's going to open up the passing game, too. So it all works hand in hand, right?
Yeah.
Well, we talk to him all the time about every great run, there's a great block somewhere downfield by a receiver. And, a lot of these guys have kind of taken that as extra pride right there, as I'm going to help bring that running back. So
I think another thing that probably works well for your wide receiver group is the secondary that you go against in practice. I think our defense at Tiffin University is straight legit defense now, and working against those kids on the other side of football has got to make you better in practice.
Yeah, definitely. Juan Nelson, we compete. We really push each other every day in practice and stuff, talk a little trash and stuff like that. So
a receiver and a defensive back talking trash?
Yeah.
I find that hard to believe.
Yep.
It's true.
That's some of them guys walking to class. It doesn't matter if you're on the football field or not.
Well, Coach, as we said, and Tony, we got Ashland coming up this weekend. Expecting a big crowd. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Day at the stadium, and it's great to have these challenges in front of you because last year they came as a great challenge, and you guys rose to the challenge and were able to get the victory. Do you savor the opportunities to play again in these big games like this when a highly rated team comes to your town and you get to put the cleats on and go out there and compete against the best that your schedule has to offer?
Yeah, definitely. But I don't look at it as the best. I look at it as another team. We just gotta do what we have to do, go out there, execute, and get the job done.
It's all about, as Coach always said, it's all about what the Dragons do. Everything else will take care of itself from there. Anything else you'd like to add here, Tony? Is there any place can people view your art online or anything anything like that?
You can check it out on my Instagram at Sheds Art Official, and you can just look that up, or on Facebook or anything like that. Awesome.
Well, like I told Coach on your way up here, Tony, I've had a pleasure talking to you ever since you came on campus, and you've been nothing but a gentleman to me and very supportive of what we're doing here. So I thank you very much for that, and it's been a pleasure watching you play football, man. I really enjoyed it. Hope to be able to keep in touch with you for a while after you are done. And you're best of luck with going home and taking care of things back at home, and you become a professional outside of the classroom. That's really cool. It's really neat.
Yep.
So thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
Coach, anything else here before we wrap up the program?
No, Tony's one of those guys that he deserves this as much as all those other, fifth-year seniors that we have. And they were here from the very beginning, and it's a lot of fun to have them be part of this.
Right.
And, we're obviously not done yet. We got a lot of work still ahead of us. But I tell you what, it's been fun watching these young men, actually teenagers, develop into some young men that – you're very proud of, and I know he's going to have a bright future when he's done playing, no matter what he decides to do, just because he's a hard worker and he's always had a great attitude. And I could say that about so many of our players right now, and that's kind of what it's all about. We're here to win some football games, but we're also here to help develop some great young men, and I really feel like we've got that right now. We've got some great guys on this team, and it makes coming to work a lot of fun.
Well, one of the ways you develop young men is by instilling pride, and I think a lot of these guys have pride in the fact that they wear the green and gold with the T on the breast, and they're very proud to be a Dragon. So it's all part of what you're doing with Tiffin University with the football program and what's happening on campus as a whole. So, absolutely. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University football, go TiffinDragons.com. If you'd like more information on Tiffin University, go to Tiffin.edu. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. Go get them on Saturday, and we'll do it again next week. All right, Coach?
Sounds good.
All right, he's Tony Shedd. He's Coach Gary Goff. I'm Russ Snyder, and this has been the Gary Goff Show here on WTUD.